Here's an example of a simple static site. It's responsive, has a homepage slider, a news section, and a simple contact form. The grid portion of the CSS is based on Zerb's Foundation CSS framework, and the slider is a jQuery plugin by Torsten Balds written in 2008. I've modified it significantly for our purposes here, but the point of all this is to show you that you don't have to find a starter theme to work with MODX. You just have to have some markup. Okay, so first things first, we need to get our static assets, CSS, JavaScript, and image files, onto the server. MODX comes with a file browser utility. The directory tree structure is familiar to anyone who's used a computer. In fact, all three of these tabs have the same tree view. Resources represent pages, posts, JavaScripts, and style sheets, or any other piece of content that might be viewed or requested at its own URL. MODX populates the only required page, the site start. This is the equivalent of index.html. The Elements tab displays your templates and the other chunks of content and code that MODX will use to render your page. We'll return to that in a minute. Let's upload the required assets using the Files tab. To keep the web root directory nice and clean, it's recommended to put static assets inside the Assets folder in a logical structure of subfolders. Let's create those subfolders now. Right-click the Assets folder and choose Create Directory here. Give the new folder a name like CSS. Let's make one for JavaScripts and another one for images. Now we can select one of the new folders. Right-click and choose Upload Files. Select the files from your local hard drive. You can add more than one file to the queue. When you've added all the files destined for this directory, click Upload, and when that's done, click Close. Once we've done that for all our static assets like CSS files and images, we can go on to create our first template. Let's start with the About page because it has all the common elements for our interior pages template, like the main menu and the submenu. We'll view the source, select all the contents, and copy it to our computer's clipboard. Inside the MODX Manager, go to the Elements tab and under Templates, click on the default base template. This is the Template Edit view. As you can see, the markup is very sparse here. The default template renders a blank page. What's even more interesting is that it looks nearly identical to regular HTML markup. There's a few MODX tags in here, but we'll look at those later. For now, let's paste in our own markup. MODX will accept this markup like any other and render it on the page. Let's name the template according to our needs and hit Save. To view your site's homepage, you can always go to the main menu and under Site, click View. This is our markup and content. As you can see from the source, it's identical to our own. But where's the presentation? We simply need to modify the paths to our static assets. Back in the Template Edit view, we're going to add the correct paths and hit Save. Now our page looks exactly the way it should. Because we've put our markup in a template, any resource can use that template as a base. Remember, a resource is a page, post, or any content with a unique URL. When a request is made for a certain page, one of the first things MODX does is parse the contents of the template used by that page. So let's create a new page. We do this by creating a new resource. Simply click the New Document icon. This is the Resource Edit view. The title and the template are the only two required fields, and template is pre-populated with the default. Notice it displays our custom template name. That's because MODX refers to the template by ID, a unique index number, and is unaware of the name we provide the template. This gives you the freedom to name your elements semantically. As far as our new page goes, let's call it About and hit Save. After it's saved, you can always view the resource you're editing by clicking the View button. Notice that this page is identical to our home page because it uses the same template. This is where the MODX magic comes in. Back in our Template Edit view, we're going to use those ever-useful MODX tags to generate page or resource-specific content. In Dreamweaver, this page-specific content would be called editable regions. Here in the title element, we have the word About. That's the same as our resource's title, or more specifically, the value of the page title field. We can call or include that field in our template by typing 2 open square brackets, then the token for any resource field, which is an asterisk, followed by the keyword page title, and then 2 closing square brackets to mark the end of our dynamic content. Similarly, let's do this for our H2 element, only this text is slightly different, so we'll use a different field. MODX was built from the ground up with SEO in mind, so there are many built-in fields you can use for various HTML elements and meta tags. Let's use the long title field here. Last but not least is our content. We obviously don't want the same content for every page, so let's select everything inside of our page content container and replace it with the content tag. The main body of a page's text content is most commonly entered using this built-in field. Let's save our template and go to the Resource Edit view for our About page. We'll paste the content into the content field and add a long title, About Us, then hit Save. Now when we view this page, we see it's the same. But when we view the home page, it's different. We haven't entered any content, nor a long title. The foundation of a dynamic site has been poured, so to speak. With only a handful of MODX tags, we're able to create editable regions of dynamic content while reusing our own markup as a template. And we've only spent less than 10 minutes together. In the next video, we're going to show you how to break up the template even further into chunks that can be reused across multiple templates. At the end of the next video, you'll be able to create all the various layouts of our static site inside our MODX-powered dynamic site. We'll see you there.